So welcome, everybody. It's 12:01. Let's get after it. It is our Monday Mastermind. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. Real quick, before we get started, I'd like to show you all of our free resources that we have. We're going to have a great topic for you today, but I want to let you know that we do record these sessions. If you can't make it on a Monday, I will tell you get the most out of it if you show up live. And the more people we have, the more you seem to get out of it too, it seems like. But show up live, ask questions, participate, because we're doing something really cool. We're creating things called shorts. If you take a look on here, when you say something really intelligent, like look at this right here. This was awesome. Look at these people, these smiling faces. They said something. Well, we create shorts out of it where you can share that onto your own social media, and then you get third-party documentation. And also, just so you know, AI is going to be looking for when you're hosted on major websites by other people. They're going to be using that in their search engine optimization for your AI. So it's going to be great. We also have an Instagram page. We have a Facebook page. Make sure you get invited to those. And then we have a website. And the website, tons of resources across the top. The one we're talking about today is we're going to get into the information right now because it's going to be a great one. Is 2026 Unlocked. What agents must know about the next market shift. So we're going to be talking about key predictions for home sales, pricing trends, inventory shifts, and what buyers and sellers will demand in 2026. And we're going to be exploring emerging opportunities, innovative strategies, and ways to stay ahead in a changing market. And make no doubt, it is going to be a massively changing market. So here's what I want you to know. We're going to be talking about the 2026 market shift, but here's the truth. We are not heading into a crash. Don't let those national headlines talk about a crash and get you scared and things like that. It is not happening, but it is going to be a shift. We are moving into a correction, and that correction is not just for buyers and sellers, but it's also for professionals, for all of you that are on here. Look, this correction that's coming is going to reward the pros, but it is going to expose the pretenders. It's going to happen. There's going to be more opportunity in the next 2 years than we've had in the last 5 years combined. And that comes from a lot of different sources, but one from artificial intelligence. It was really smart. The information that we put in, they came up with it. And it's going to be great. So we're going to get started here today. And this is an open forum. On an open forum, that means you can raise your hand, or if you want to unmute, I'll call on you. If you just want to unmute, that means you want to talk, or you use the little raise hand thing, and we're going to get you started. And we're going to talk about anything that you think that's coming for 2026 that is going to be helpful for agents as we get going. One of the first things we'll start, I'll just kind of prime the pump as we get going until we get people unmuting, and that is affordability. Now, affordability is going to be a huge topic that you're going to want to be talking about on your social media, and you're going to be talking about all of your clients with it. Because look, the battleground is going to be more than just interest rates. We're going to be looking at things that needs to happen where we can get our young people into houses. I saw a stat the other day in some major metropolitan areas. The first-time homebuyer age, are you ready? Everybody hang on to your seats. First-time homebuyer age, 41. The average age for first-time homebuyers, folks.
I heard that.
As we all know, that is way too late. If they're waiting till 41, they're toast. They're never going to have the chance to go. Wealth opportunities for lower and middle income class people is housing, their personal residence, the ability to pay it off and then use that money, the extra money they have, to either pass along generational wealth to help their next offspring move up, right, in social class. It's their housing. And that's way too late for it's going to happen. And so what's happening to our poor millennials and Gen Zs is they're getting locked out. So we, the professionals, are going to have to get really good at working with buy downs, grants, co-buying, employer-assisted housing, all the different things to get them in. And yes, although none of us ever want to talk about it, we're going to have to get involved in politics. I had a chance to meet with the future governor of Ohio. His name's Vivek Ramaswamy, and I was talking to him. I went to a dinner with him, and bought my way in. I wasn't invited. I had to pay the plate. But I wanted to talk to him about specifically where we're at here in Ohio about exactly this, the affordability crisis. And here's what he said. we need to increase the supply side of it, and we need to get
Hmm.
back to building tiny homes, nice
Hmm.
homes, good quality in nice areas, but small ones. The average home being built right now in Ohio, I don't know where it is for you guys, but the homes are being built all 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 3-car garage, full basement. And you know what? None of the people can afford it, the young people, and they don't need 4 bedrooms anyways. None of them are having kids until they're in their 30s anyhow. If they're going to buy in their 20s, they can do a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house with maybe no garage or a detached garage. The problem is this: the communities won't allow them. The
Hmm.
communities have zoned them so that the builders can't build them, right? So we've got to get some out there into the market where these young people can get started and know it's not going to be their dream home. That's the other thing. All of us have to get the message out like, look, you're not going to get your dream home as your first house. Make a list of your top 10 things that are must haves and just know you're going to get 2 on your first house. That's it. So name the top 10 things, you'll get 2 of the 10. On your next house, you'll get 4 of the 10. The next house, you'll get 6 of the 10. And by the time you're on your fourth house, you'll get 8, 9, or 10 of the 10. And that's our job, to get that message out there and get going. So here's what's going to happen. The winners in real estate, I believe, in 2026 are going to be the ones who can explain financing options clearly. You're
Hmm.
going to win more buyers than agents who simply quote interest rates. And if you're new, that means your best friend needs to become a lender. A lender that will sit down with every client you have and explain to them what a 2-1 buy down is. Explain to them why they might have to do an arm. Explain they might have to do, God forbid, I can't even, it's going to come out of my mouth, but they might have to do a 50-year mortgage. And we know they're not going to be in it for
Yeah.
50 years. They're going to be in it 3, 5, 6, 7 years, but it gets them in the game. You
Hmm.
cannot win the real estate game if you don't get into it. And if you're waiting until you're 35, 40 years old, you're toast, young people. And we need to talk to them and get that message out there. So that was to prime the pump. I see Tony Giusto. He's unmuted. Tony, take it away.
Well, one thing I'm also going to suggest that we all need to do is be able to communicate with the parents of the younger buyers, because that's a huge stumbling block. And a lot of parents, they look at it and they're like, oh, I wouldn't live there. Well, that's great, but can your kid afford something more? Or are you going to be paying for their house and things like that? Which obviously we all know that there's different set of restrictions for how much they can get as a gift, and assistance for down payments and whatnot. Plus, then they have to qualify for said mortgage. So I think it's going to be super, likely where if you have people, clients, and they're younger, have them bring their parents. Explain to them how the process works, because the parents I've seen kill more deals lately than anything else. 'Cause they'll be like, "Oh, I don't like the incline on this driveway." Well, guess what? You're not living there, and different things like that. So that's something huge that I think we all need to be prepared for and get ourselves well versed in as well.
You're so right, Tony. I mean, it's going to be very important to be able to speak with conviction
Hmm.
and with certainty. And in a negotiation, right, the one who ever speaks with the most certainty is the one that wins. And I love that. Kelly Jackson.
Yes, yes. So I have a whole different spin on this because of where I live. We house hack here,
Hmm.
and house hacking is a great way to get some of the younger buyers to buy in because they're purchasing properties where they can rent out either part of their house. I have a guy in Houston. I sold him a townhouse. He rented out a room and a bathroom, and they shared the kitchen, and it was perfectly fine, and that paid his mortgage.
Kelly, what do you call
Also,
it again? What's the name of it? I've never heard this term before.
house
What'd you call it?
hacking.
House hacking. Yeah.
House
House
hacking. House
hacking.
Hmm.
packing with a
Yes.
P or with an H?
With
Hacking.
the
H.
H.
Yeah.
H. House hacking. Great. Love it. Keep going.
House hacking is a great way to get millennials into properties because they it's not for lack of want. They want to get in properties, and they also want to build generational wealth, but they don't know how. And so offering them a single family house that they've got to cover everything is not really a good option. It's not something that they're ready for. But when you talk about house hacking and how they can rent out. We have basements. Not everyone have basements, but it's very common here for you to rent out your basement, the whole thing, to have a second kitchen, and a basement might rent for $1,800, $2,000 a month, which is quite substantial, and that helps pay the mortgage. So there are millennials who are buying properties here that and that's what they're going to do. They look for properties that have walkout basements, but we have to point that out to them of ways they can use it. When you're looking for even a condo, that second bedroom and second bath are important. And so showing them ways that not just here's how much the house costs, but here's how much income you could generate if you house hack. Because as they get out of college, they're used to having roommates. And
Hmm.
so it's a great way, and then use that as a stepping stone, that equity that they build up over a few years. They can now use that to purchase that next house or that single family property.
So for everybody who's on here right now, that was worth the price of admission today. Just for that right there. You can all log off right now. You're done. Go make yourself a social media post. Kelly Jackson just gave you a piece that you can go out and get more buyers right now. So you've got your market, who you're marketing to, millennials and Gen Zs. You've got your message. I've got a way for you to get into a house. You think housing is unaffordable? I've got a way. It's called house hacking. If you don't know how it works, and then the call to action, hit me up. That's your social media piece. It's a 60-second reel, and you use a term that nobody's ever heard before. As soon as I heard it, it perked up my ears. I'm like, what the heck's this house hacking thing? That right there, everybody, when they get off here today, should be making that piece and putting that out on their social media and blast it friggin' everywhere. And if you're like, well, I don't know how to write it, you go to your little AI clone that you've created and you have it say it in your language, and make yourself a little script, get your little ring light out. I put on my eye concealer and get after it and do it. I love it. Great job, Kelly Jackson.
I
That
got a
was,
second one.
let's hear it. Good. Keep going.
So the second one is, so I've had a number of parents who actually purchase houses, especially if you live near, again, we live near a bunch of major colleges.
Hmm.
And the parents, housing for college is expensive. We did it in upstate New York. It was crazy. And if you purchase that property, and what parents are doing, they're either purchasing a condo for the kid to live in, which is cheaper than dorm expenses, and then they're gifting it to them when they graduate so they have a house. But the second way is Keith had a recently had a it was a 5 bedroom condo, which is insane, but we have
Wow.
those here. And that was the number one people that were interested in were parents. They could purchase the property, they rented out the entire, each bedroom was rented out to another student, a friend of the buyer, and they did a FHA kitty loan. And FHA kitty loan says that they can buy this property and pay 3.5% down because their kid is living in it, and they can now rent out all the rooms, and guess what, the rental of the rooms covered the mortgage. So we've got
Genius.
two ways that we can put these kids in the properties while they're still very, very young, and now they're collecting rents from their friends. So those are my two ways.
Love it. That's where right there. Kitty loan. So there's another social media post for you. Parents, you got kids that are getting ready to go to college. Let me tell you about a kitty loan. You never heard of one before? And then the call to action. Hit me up. We'll talk about it, see if it works in your situation. That way, so you get the person you're going to talk to, who's your market, what's your message, and then the call to action. You put those three together, and that's how you get your social media to actually generate leads versus just putting out information. So I love it. Great job on that, Kelly. Keith Jackson, you unmuted. Go, baby.
Yeah, we did that video and we had so much engagement, it was crazy. So it definitely brings in the viewers and people reaching out to ask about that particular mortgage product.
Keith, if I had that Barry White voice, I'd make videos all day long, man. Like that. You got that smooth rolling right off of there, man.
He has
I
the
love it.
voice of God, man. You use
Yeah,
it.
that thing that rolls out. I like it. Listen to that
Thank
all
you.
day long.
Also to piggyback on to Kelly's house hack, another thing that people can also do is buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, live in one of the units, and rent the other ones out. That's also another way to house hack. And after you're done or can move up, you can always keep that and rent out that fourth unit then, or second, third, or fourth unit, whatever unit you're living in, and move on to another home as well, and still have that income coming in.
And you normalize this by telling stories, right? You normalize it by telling stories, not just facts out there, and you tell the stories. And you could probably create an entire social media series on this and have your AI create it for you. I need 30 to 60-second video clips and scripts that I can do, walking somebody through how they could house hack their way into owning their first home when they can't afford it on their own. Because look, a lot of what I don't know about you, but a lot of the millennials and Gen Zs I know, they're not having kids for a long time. A lot of them aren't getting married. So they do want the house, but yet they don't have the two incomes to be able to afford it. So I think it's a great way to do it. I love that. Tony Giusto, are you unmuted to talk, or are you just hanging?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to
No worries,
mute
no
myself
worries.
back up.
Just checking. Maria Joyce, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell Kelly, thank you for that, because my listing that I have, one of the new offers that came in, the agent was letting me know basically that that's what his buyer was wanting to do. And I had no idea what that was. I put it in Chat GPT, like, what is hacking? Like, okay. So yeah, and you broke it down even more better than Chat GPT actually. So
Maria
this
Joyce,
is
our first closing, everyone. Round of applause for Maria Joyce. Just had
yeah,
her.
I'm
So
hoping
well
to
done.
close that. Yeah. We're gonna see.
Well
Hopefully
done.
they'll accept it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Congrats on that. Rob Campbell, go for it. Oh, you
Yeah,
took a bite. I thought you were
grab
talking.
Jamie
You were
right
taking a
quick.
bite of
Yeah,
it. So who else? Who else wants to
Jamie,
chat?
grab Jamie right quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamie. I see your hand up.
One of the things you guys may want to think about is looking in the realm of new construction. The builders, at least in the Metro Atlanta area, they are taking significant reductions, and even DR Horton has offered like less than 1% temporarily, and even 3.99% fixed. And we're talking about, I've got 3 under new construction right now, with literally the builder is taking $100K off to close out their year, offering 3% commission, $7,500 broker bonuses on starter homes. I mean, these are not like $500,000 homes. These are very, very low end. Mortgage payments will be about $1,300, $1,400 a month type homes, and in different areas. And so I would really encourage you guys, really look at what the builders are doing, because especially if they're not looking in a primo, most of the builders are not necessarily always building in those primo school districts or those primo areas in order to come in at that 300,000 or that 400,000. Look in those areas. Where are these builders? Where's Horton building? Where's Lennar building? One, it can help you with your commissions. A lot of them are offering great bonuses, but two, also it gives your buyer the ability to come in at a significantly lower rate. I think I did one last year where they came in at like 2.99 first year, 3.99 second year, and then it'll settle out at 4.99, and then ended up selling their house to an investor to kind of get them into that, to be able to take advantage of those low rates. And so especially DR Horton, whether you love their quality, don't love their quality, they do have a niche in the marketplace that will allow people. So I'll just encourage you guys, if you guys are looking out, that doesn't help you with your listings, but it does help you to get some of these people who say the houses are not affordable, because the builders want to close out their corporate year, and they want to close these things out, and are doing whatever they can do to move the inventory right now. So,
Yeah, Jamie, I heard a statistic the other day that goes along with that the average price per square foot for new construction is less than resale right now. So that's the first time it's happened, I think, in history, I believe.
I don't doubt it, because new construction in certain areas, I've had some listings earlier in the year. We literally just can't sell the resales. There's like 46% of all the sales in those areas are new construction. Why would anyone buy a resale in that area when you could buy a brand new home with literally the builders are offering $20,000-$30,000 incentives? No resale owner can do that. And then,
Right.
sometimes they may have only bought in the last 2 years, and the builders now have lowered the price. Basically, the builders pulled the rug out from under them. They bought 2 years ago and the neighborhood wasn't finished, and the builders lowered the prices as opposed to raise the prices, which normally has always been a good thing to buy new construction, especially early on in phase 1 or phase 2, because you have instant equity by the end. What the builders just did, because of the market shift, the builders did the opposite in 22, 23, and even 24. And so where people who needed to move now can't move because they're literally upside down, or we were actually looking at subject to, which is not a great deal for a buyer. But if people got to move and they don't have the equity and they didn't put enough money down, so just making sure that, I would definitely be looking out for all those things. And I definitely experienced that earlier in the year, Rob. I haven't had a listing expire I don't even remember the last time, and I've had 2 of them this year.
Here's what everybody on here should do for new builds right now, and make this a goal for you before the end of the year. Find out who if you don't have this already, find the top 10 builders in your area and find out a rep that you want to work with. Create a Facebook Messenger group with all of them in there. Okay. So all 10 of them, so they can all see each other. And then every time you get a buyer, take that buyer's parameters and put it in there. I got such and such buyer. They've got this much money to put down. They got this kind of credit score and they want this much payment. Who's got something for them? And watch them all battle and go to town, throwing stuff in there. And so this is to the point that Tony was just talking about earlier, or maybe Jamie was saying it. We found 2 builders that had 2.99% rates, and then one had a spec home that they were willing to do 1.99% interest rate on it to move it. And the clients went from existing, wanting to see a bunch of houses that they didn't like, to being able to get a brand new home that they loved. And they chose an area they didn't even want to live in, right? They totally switched because the payment was there and the house was brand new. They fell in love with that and they moved. And people are a lot more flexible than what you think, but you let the builder reps go at it and they all see each other putting their best foot forward and go to town. And that will change your business overnight. And you should put every buyer you get, you should be sticking their parameters in there just to see what the builders have to offer. It'll save you time and it'll make you more money. And a lot of times right now, there's even inventory right there for you to go with it. Tony Giusto.
I was actually going to add on and kind of contradict a little bit of Jamie with the subject to. It can be a great vehicle to get somebody in, because if somebody has a low interest rate, you can put that on, put yourself on as a second mortgage and note holder, put it on the back end for these people, and you can get that seller to then want to move to a new home, because no one wants to leave a 2-3% mortgage for a 6.5-7% mortgage. But that could be a way in order to help facilitate a little bit more and get movement.
Let's do our disclaimer right now. Tony, you want to say it or you want me to say it?
I'll let you say it.
We are a diverse group of agents from all across the country in all different states. Any advice you get on here, please check with your local laws and rules and regulations, and especially with your broker, because in some places subject to are no-goes, other places they're common as day. So make sure you check on those things. And if you don't understand how it works, bring somebody in who's done them before and who's excellent at them, and have them co-broker with you inside your brokerage. Be willing to pay out a little money to have them get in there with you and make sure you don't screw that up, because those kind of things can be great for the buyers and sellers, but you can also wreck somebody's life financially if you do it wrong. So great stuff on that. I love the ideas popping out on this mastermind. This is great. Great stuff on there. Rob Campbell, you were going to go next.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier about the new type of mortgage, a 50-year mortgage floated out there. There's a lot of people that are for it, against it, whatever, but I think it can be a tool just like the portable mortgage is another thing that was floated out there that we could see coming up next year. And knowing that these exist and how to leverage them, right? Like a 50-year mortgage, like you said, if you got in it for 50 years, it's not a great deal. But if you got in it for a few years, you're able to keep your payments low for a few years until you can move to the next one, because most people don't stay in their home forever. So it could be a tool to leverage till the next move. So know what the different models are. The portable mortgage is the one that's kind of exciting to me. And the reason is, if we do get a portable mortgage where you can take a 3% mortgage here and then move it over along with your equity to your next house, and then have the difference be at the current rate instead of the whole mortgage be at the current rate, that could be a game changer to open up new inventory in the marketplace. We have a lot of people sitting on their house because they don't want to give up their 3% mortgage. That could open up new inventory for us, and that could be a game changer.
We definitely need more on the supply side to help with affordability. In fact, that's going to be our next topic we're going to go to, is inventory expansion. But Tony, go ahead. You had something to add to this, what Rob was just saying?
Yes, with the 50-year mortgage, here's just another way to look at it. If you think about when people were doing adjustable rate mortgages, and that kind of caused a bit of a crisis back in the day, this is better than that, because now you've got the affordability of that. It is controlled for a longer portion of time. And just as, Rob said, you're not going to live in the house for 50 years. And it's just it's a better way for that stepping stone instead of an adjustable rate mortgage.
Yeah, it's like leasing a car, right? There's cars out there you can't afford to buy, but you can afford to lease them. You're only going to be in it 3 years anyhow. So, you're basically renting the car. Yeah. But you're in the car that you want to be in and it's the same thing with the house. Like, I can't afford to buy the house right now. So I'll do a 50-year on it. And then we can always refinance to a shorter term. We have to remind people that, like, hey, is this the house you want to get into? And if the 50 years saving you an extra $300-400 a month is what gets you in there. And if you do decide to stay longer than a couple of years, which 82% of first-time homebuyers will not, they will all sell and move and upgrade within 3 to 8 years, just because relationships change, jobs change, things like that. That's just the stats. But they can always refi to a shorter term. You can be in it, pay on it 2-3 years, and then realize, okay, my income went up, but I want to stay here. They can either double up on their payments and decrease the amortization costs of it, right, that they're paying on it, or they can refi to a 20-year or to a 15-year. I think there should be mortgage products out there. This is what I've been saying on all the national stuff. There should be a 5-year mortgage. There should be a 10-year mortgage. There should be a fifth. There already is a 15, and there is a 20, although a lot of lenders won't do a 20, but there should be a 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Let people have options, then the education that goes along with it. Look, if you do the 50-year mortgage and only make the minimum payment, you're basically renting it for the first 20 years, but as long as they understand that and it fits their financial scenario, what they're doing, there you go. So I love that. But let's talk about inventory, because I heard somebody say it. And I think inventory is going to be going up. People are actually going to have real choices. And this is a message all of us can get out to our sphere. 2026 is going to be a great time to buy, because we're not going to have the supply and demand crisis before. Supply is going to steadily increase, and it's coming from a couple different things. I'd love to hear people's opinions where it's coming from. One of them is, I think, some boomers. I'm a boomer, right? We're starting to downsize, and we're going to be taking those big 4 or 5 bedroom homes we had where our kids and everything where we go, and we're going to start liquidating those and moving down in size. So those are going to be available for families to move up into. And, sometimes boomers are also relocating, right? They're heading for the Sunshine States if they're up north and things like that as they retire. That's going to bring some more liquidity to the marketplace with more options for people to choose from. So they're not in a bidding war and things like that. And they can actually get a request to remedy fixed, right? Maybe they can even negotiate on the price a little bit and things like that. I also think maybe with 2022, people that were locked into those 2.5% and 3% mortgages, they're finally starting to realize, like, those days are never coming back. And that needs to be a concerted message from all of us. Those days are never coming back, and that's a good thing. We should all be saying that in unison. That's a good thing. We don't ever want 2.5% or 3% mortgage rates ever again, because what happened? The pricing shot up 40% overnight. It destroyed everybody. People were in bidding wars. People were overpaying by houses 6 figures over what they should have been spending. It was awful. That was a crisis. Doing that with the rates. We should never want to see that again. Good rates, excellent rates are anything in the 5s. Good rates are anything 6 to 8. 8 and 9 is, not so good. And then anything that's double digit and up is terrible, right? And once we normalize the fact that rates in the 6s and 7s are a good interest rate, that's a good thing. And I think we need to get that message out. That's all of our job, that where they're at right now is great as far as they're going. I think new construction is going to ramp it up a little bit. I do think that you're going to see more tiny home, what they call them tiny homes. I mean, I was raised in 1,200 square feet, and that seemed like plenty of space, 3 boys in 1 bedroom, right? It was just the way it was back then. Now every kid's got their own bedroom, their own bathroom and things like that. It doesn't have to be that way, right? I think we'll also see some more multi-generational housing. What's everybody else think? What do you think about inventory? What's going to be happening? We're going to be going up in inventory, or is it going to be crashing? What do you think?
Rob, we're already seeing inventory up.
Yep.
We're already seeing an increase in inventory. And so I think the conversations we need to really have coming up, and I know this is a struggle for me, and just being real, having listings that are on the market for 80 or 90 days, and it's not me, it's what's happening, right?
Let's talk about 80 to 90 day inventory. That's a balanced market. People forget, like, this 20 years ago, that was a balanced market. A 90-day listing was nothing. We took 1-year listings back in the day because there was times houses took 6, 7, 8, 9 months to sell. That was just the way it was. Everybody got really spoiled for a decade where houses were selling and closing in 30, 45 days. You took the listing and you're getting a closing check 45 days later. That is not normal. That is a complete seller's market. A balanced market is, easy. 90, 120 days on the market is not uncommon. But it's all of us, Jamie. It's a great point. All of us need to get that message out there. Like, this is a balanced market, and this is what you want. You don't want it the other way, where everybody's in a bidding war and it's going too fast. I mean, it was fun as an agent, stick a sign in the yard and not have to make those calls and ask for a price reduction and things like that. But that's not a normal market. So I think you're right. It's getting back more balance. It's good. Good to say on that. Here's something that I found that was interesting that I think for 2026 that all of us can start to do is we need to position ourselves in front of our clients as a market interpreter, not a market cheerleader. So instead of coming at it like, yay, rates are going down, or boo, rates went up, right? We become a market interpreter to our people, and it positions us, instead of taking one side or the other, we're just interpreting the marketplace when we put it out there. And we're more of a trusted advisor than looked at as a money grubbing realtor, right? Everybody thinks, we're just, we're commission driven. You're just telling me to get into the market because you want to get a commission check, right? You hear that all the time. You see it if you're on any of the national forums out there and you're looking, real estate agents are like used car salespeople. They're just wanting to get paid. They're telling first-time home buyers that they need to buy because they're just trying to earn a fee. And that's not the case. But I think it's agents, the way we talk on social media, it positions us as a market cheerleader, right? Trying to get people in versus interpreter. I thought that was a great point. So we're not moving into a bad market. We're moving into a skills-based market. Everybody here, while things, I don't know if it slows down your area seasonably or things like that, but everybody needs to work on their skills during their downtime. Figure something out. I would recommend AI. I would recommend taking a course, building yourself an AI clone over the next month or two, because the AI market isn't coming, it's here. And AI isn't going to eliminate real estate agents. It's just going to eliminate real estate agents that don't use AI, that not just use it, but master it. So here's a scenario that's coming, and I believe this is going to be the case. A person who wants to sell their house is going to go this. They're going to pick up their phone. They're going to talk to their AI and say, hey, we're thinking about selling our house. Please get me 3 real estate agents to interview in person at my house next week and book them into my calendar. They're going to sit it down. And their AI clone version of them is going to go out and it's going to talk to real estate agents clone who's out there. And the two clones are going to talk and they're going to set the appointments. And then the human beings are going to get together. So it's my people are going to talk to your people. Your people call my people and we'll get together. It's going to be one of those types of deals. And it's here already, but it is coming like a freight train. And if you haven't already built your AI clone, let me recommend going out and doing that. It's basically AI, but it uses your experience, your personality, everything that it knows about you, your favorite football team, where you live, what's your favorite time of year, your favorite color. It knows everything about you. And it's going to match you up with a seller that would most work well with you. Or the seller is going to be matched up with the agent that would jive most well with them. And you have to teach your AI everything about you. There's entire interviews it'll do. It'll ask you questions and you answer back in your voice and it walks you through it and walks you down a path until it knows everything about you. And it is you. It's your face. And the scary part about this is in the near future, well, it can already do this. It's going to use your voice to talk to the people when they call and ask questions. It'll be you answering them because it knows you, but in your voice. And in the near future, even beyond that, it's going to be a hologram of you talking to them using your voice, your face, your mannerisms, and it's not you. And that's coming. Whether it's good or bad, we can argue about that another time, but just that's what I would work on if I wanted to take some time over the next month or two while things slow down a little bit. I would work on cloning myself on AI and teaching it everything about me. So that's coming for 2020. It's here, actually. It's not coming. It's here. Who else wants to chat? Rob, I see you unmuted again. Go for it.
One thing you talked about inventory. I heard, I do a lot of reading and trying to digest what's going on. One of the things that I heard is that they're going to adjust how the banks have been handling foreclosures. During COVID, the government highly encouraged banks not to foreclose and to wrap the deal back in the back of the loan and make it work and fix it and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm hearing that that's going to start to slow down and they're going to let the foreclosures happen. That's gonna be a new market if we see these new foreclosures start to come on the market. I don't know when that's going to happen, but at some point, and it needs to, you can't keep piling this up on banks and letting them take hits on it. So at that point, we'll get more inventory from the foreclosure side. So that's another thing that could be coming soon.
That's great. Great stuff on that. Another idea for 2026 I was on, and I'm going to go to Kelly here in 1 second. Another thing I heard coming that agents need to bring in to the repertoire in 2026 is this: unlock those people that you sold houses to back in 21, 22, and things like that, who have a super low rate. Unlock getting them into the market by either having them, or people before that, having them pull the equity out of their house and buy investment properties. Teach a class that you can have AI write for you about how to reinvest your equity. Because here's the thing, really wealthy people never sit on a ton of equity in their house, ever. They're leveraged to the hilt as far as they can go. They sit there and they get some equity, they borrow it, and they buy a property that's a cash producing asset somewhere. And so if you have a set of clients that you've sold houses to in the past, and the market has skyrocketed in your marketplace, and they don't want to leave and they don't want to go anywhere, teach them how, with a lender, to pull the equity out of their house and buy a property that produces income, because they're not making any money sitting there with that equity in their property. They're not making any, and their money should be making money, and they're going to need to, because as inflation takes off, as we hit $50 trillion in debt coming up here over the next couple of years, as inflation goes, the dollar gets inflated away, their commercial and residential real estate, commercial real estate being the property they invested in, can at least, at minimum, keep up with inflation, but hopefully outpace it. And that's how they'll survive with their dollar. And so there's entire courses you can take on and things like that, or just get yourself a really good lender friend and introduce them to all of your past clients on how they can put their primary residence to work for them, earning income. It was great on that. Kelly Jackson. She got another one in her.
Well,
I love it.
I was going back to what Rob was saying about foreclosures. Now, not everyone will list the foreclosures, but everyone can sell them. And so it is important that when you talk about building skills, learn how to write an offer for a foreclosure. It's a little bit different than writing an offer for a traditional house. And also arming yourself with some knowledge. For example, HUD will accept 88% of the list price typically when those properties have set on the market. 88%, but most people don't understand how to share that. And that's not something I give away on social. That's something that I say for my clients because I'm the professional and I can say, hey, let's look at some HUD properties or maybe even featuring these properties, a HUD property, a foreclosure as a deal of the week. You can borrow someone else's listing. HUD says you can do it as long as you're a realtor. You can borrow that listing so you don't even have to ask an agent for their permission. But now you have a property that you can market and you can tell people how to buy it. You can also arm yourself with knowledge about 1031 exchanges. Uh, it's a huge niche, if you will, because when we talk about the market shifting and blah blah blah, there's always someone that's benefiting in that market that we're in. And right now, investors have come out the woodwork. So therefore, we have to shift ourselves around and be able to represent investors or either, accept investor offers on our listings. And so
So
it
Kelly,
really
what's
is
the
important
what's the
that
social media post? So this is gold. So what is the social media post right now that agents on here could cut and paste and take out there? What would their reel be, or what would their post be that they would put out that would bring them leads off this?
I would say the real would be every week saying, here's your deal of the week in this marketplace. Like going through the MLS or going through HUD's site or going through whatever foreclosure site you like and saying, here's the deal of the week. Go out to the property, tour it, show them the inside. Like you're going to get leads. Who doesn't want to buy a foreclosure? And most people that start with wanting to buy one end up buying something else, but they buy. And so it's a great way to get clients today.
I love it. And then Kelly, would you recommend them creating a list of investors that come to them and have them on a separate group? And then when they get these deals, you send it to all of them. First come, first serve, create a little FOMO.
Yes, I would definitely do that. And also, whenever you have a fixer upper, letting them know and not even telling them the address, just saying, hey, I have a fixer upper coming up in Atlanta and it's going to be 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. If you want the details, reach out, but it's not going to last long. So that they have to call you because you want something from them. You're not just in the business of giving all the information either.
The old call to action. Look, if you want in on my private inner circle, the name inner circle investor list of all the primo deals, hit me up and
Well,
I'll add you to my list.
and that list is also important. So if you have knowledge about these properties, because not all of these properties, when you go to a lot of foreclosure sites, they're not necessarily on the MLS. And so when you're sitting at that open house, do you want to join my private list of off-market opportunities? That could be for sell by owners. It could be, if your company we have EXP exclusives. It could be from anywhere that you bring these properties. It could be old expireds, but that's your hidden list. And now, do you want to get on this exclusive list when people have trouble getting people to sign in, but now they're more than willing to sign in because you have something to offer them at that open house?
We use the term shadow inventory. Sounds all
Yes.
spooky and exotic, but I tell you what, it gets people off the fence. Shadow, wait, there's shadow inventory? Wait, no, I'm on Zillow and Real. I know nope, there's shadow inventory you don't know about out there. Baby, they'll sign up in a second. Oh, I want in. I want in on that, right? Tony, great stuff, Kelly. Beautiful.
Also
Tony,
talk about zombie properties. That'll get, some attention because people will be like, what's a zombie property?
that's a great term. What is zombie property? I want to know. Tell me what you're saying. What is that?
A zombie property is when a bank has started the foreclosure process and decides that the property doesn't have enough equity in them to take it back, so they'll give it back to the homeowner. And usually the homeowner has left the house, it's in disarray because whether it didn't get winterized properly, uh, huge fines from the town that it's in for unmowed lawn and things like that. And it really is not that affordable. And a lot of things need to get cleared and hurdles need to happen in order to acquire that property. But usually you can get a really great deal on it because not many people want to take on that hassle. And you can get some people in there who can turn that pile of garbage into, the greatest thing you've ever seen. And it doesn't cost nearly as much as people anticipate.
So you can add that to your social media posts. I have access to shadow inventory and zombie properties. Sounds
I always talk
scary
to
and
people
exciting
about
at the same time. I love it.
That
I
that
always
zombie
talk to people
product,
about zombie properties.
those zombie properties, that sounds so Chicago. Uh,
I like it. I like it.
we we sold foreclosures in Chicago, so that's really market specific. Not everywhere has zombie properties.
No, I
I'd use the word
100% agree.
anyways. I'd use the word anyways just to get the phone to ring or to
That's
text,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Keith
for
Jackson.
sure.
I was going to say, we always think it's the pretty properties that we should put on social. It's not always the pretty properties. Sometimes it's the ones that you don't think are pretty, but are a good value that get you the most traffic. We put up a one-bedroom house that was what, maybe 600 square feet tops.
No, it's
And I had
448 square feet.
440. I had 18,000 views. I've had so many inquiries I can't count. People's going to my website. So it's not always the pretty properties that get you traffic. So don't be confused and think, oh, it's got to be a mansion that you put up. It's just got to be something that is a good value and will get people talking. So don't get suckered in by the pretty house trap.
Love it.
Or,
Tony, were you add something to that?
yes, I was. Or if a house reeks of cat urine, put that out there, and just say, man, I went into this house. It reeked of cat urine. You could smell it 10 feet before you even entered the front door. Contact me and I can help you avoid going to look at these type of houses, or something in that realm. And people will be like, oh, wow, they know what to look for and how not to bring me to a nasty house. Because let's face it, we've all seen nasty houses, and sometimes a buyer will pick out the dog of a dog, and you're just like, yep, you can't get this one, but I can get you ways to avoid that.
Tony, you just pissed off every cat owner on here, just so you know. So there we go. That's it. They're all going to jump. We'll find out how many there are. Participants
That
just
was
went
not
cut in half.
that was not meant as a dig on cat owners. I actually went to a house, and I can attest to this. It was 10 feet before the front door. It reeked of cat urine. You got inside, and you were nearly throwing up. And I'm the sick, twisted one. I'm like, okay, where is this stench coming from? I actually had to go around looking at the house to find out where the stench was coming from.
Tony,
And
it's not a
everywhere.
cat, it's their baby, Tony. You might as well have smacked their kid in the face. You say something like that. Just funny. Good stuff on that. Good stuff on that. All right, we're getting close to the end here. Let's keep moving along. So I saw something interesting, and I'd like to get everybody's opinion on this, is they're talking about 2026 is the year of collaboration for agents. So here's what's going to happen, supposedly. The predictions are this: 20%, 20% of agents are not going to renew their license in January. 20% of the agents who are right now licensed are out there are not going to renew their license. And that the year of 2026 is the year where we all need to come together, like this, a little mastermind, and share thoughts and insights to try to save our own industry. For those of us who are part of it, being able to survive, sharing with each other, caring for each other, and trying to help all of us along as we go, because the days of being a lone wolf are history. The machines are trying to put us out of business. The lawyers are trying to put us out of business. Silicon Valley is trying to put us out of business, right? Taking our own leads and selling them back to us, Zillow. And so I'm sorry, it was a bad cough I have in there. It's just scratchy in my throat on that. So we need to all work together. Some people are going to need to build or join a traditional team. Everyone, if you're not building or joining a traditional team, needs to build a non-traditional team.
Correct.
The collaboration effort and the ability to scale as we see the fees that we're all going to be charging are going to be coming down. It's just a fact. It's going to be happening. And as things like the machines in Silicon Valley start to automate a bunch of our work that we do, we're going to need to have diversified ways of income coming in. The days of being a lone wolf and I just buy and sell real estate and that's it, of being able to thrive is going to turn into just survival. If you're going to want to thrive in real estate, you're going to need to have multiple streams of revenue. Now, they can come from multiple different places. If you don't know what building a non-traditional team is, you take somebody from your brokerage and you share leads out and you get referral fees off them, but you have a set group of people. You have somebody who can show houses for you, a showing tribe, things like that, right?
Yep.
Other things you're going to be able to and probably need to do as an agent and take a look at in 2026 is, depending again on the laws in your state, so check out your state, check with your broker, but maybe earning income off of mortgages. You're having your mortgage loan officer's license where as rates come down and the refi boom takes off, you're in a joint venture with a lender where you refer over your past clients to get their refi done and you catch a little slice, 50 basis points, 75 basis points, where you're not even doing the loan, but because you refer it over and you're licensed, you can do that. You may need to have that come in. You may need to bring on a commercial partner that's going to help with commercial real estate. You start getting a slice off some commercial deals. You may need to enter a joint venture in title. Title, as of yet, hasn't really been affected as far as pricing goes, but there are some models coming along where the cost for the title company is going to be decreased drastically on the amount of work they have to do because of the large language models that are out there. And because of that, they're going to have some extra money, and that money can be available to real estate agents. Again, check with your broker and things like that on how those work. There are legal ways to do it. Don't do it illegally. Don't do it illegally. We're going to lose 20% of the agents as it is. We don't want that happening to you in 2026, but that's another way of taking a look at it and creating businesses surrounding that feed your real estate business. I sat in with John Lee. He was a speaker with Glenn Sanford. Glenn Sanford's the CEO and founder of eXp Realty, but he was on the stage in front of about 7,000 agents. He was talking, and I took his class, and he's talking about building automated businesses that feed off of and feed into your real estate business. So you're a real estate agent, but you build 10 surrounding businesses that run automated. And one maybe just brings in you 500 a month. One brings in you 250 a month, and one brings in 1,000 a month. But these 10 businesses together help bring in another 10 grand a month into your real estate business, and they run automated AI. And they also feed your working with buyers, sellers, and investors. And it's something that everybody needs to take a look at in 2026, doing diversifying and insulating yourself against what is coming. What you don't want to do is stick your head in the ground and think that things are going to stay the same as they always were, because they're not. They're going to change. This shift is happening, and it's not for the worse. I think it can be for the better. I think you're going to be able to sell more real estate in less time, and you're going to be able to have more time to live your life, is what's coming. And I think that's going to be happening as it comes up. I see Tony Justo, and then we'll go to Rob Campbell.
Yeah, and I'm going to go right on with you, Jim, because I totally agree. One thing that people need to open their minds up to, start doing more networking, finding where investors are having meetings, go to them. You know, there are so few realtors who can deal with an investor, and you can turn that into a great niche and, you know, niche, however you want to pronounce it, and get so much more business. Another thing, join professional networking groups like BNI or anything. You know, I know that there's something else called Pi out there, and embrace them. You know, talk to people. It might be from a different industry, but you can gather leads and share leads, and it will help grow and explode your business tremendously. These are huge things that I highly recommend, and I can't say enough about. And, you know, if anyone has any questions, you know, or different things or want to know something, feel free, reach out, contact me. I'm always willing to have that conversation and give you a hand, you know, or, you know, some advice on some of the different groups and whatnot. And not every BNI group will have a spot open for a realtor, but they've got a ton out there, and you might have to go looking around, but it can be very, very beneficial.
Yeah, great stuff on that, Tony. The other thing that's coming for 2026, it's already here, but you'll hear about it more and more. And people, you need to take some time and learn about it. It's called the tokenization of real estate. There's going to be fractional real estate sold, where you're going to be able to buy a piece of a Manhattan skyscraper, a Singapore hotel, a Hong Kong strip mall. You're going to be able to buy these things online as digital assets, but own a piece of these different physical assets, even though you're buying it in a digital world on the blockchain. So that's coming. I'm learning about that right now. I know just enough to be dangerous, but lofty.ai is where you can check that out. There's some people already who are selling their private real estate through tokenization, but mostly investment properties right now. And you can come in, the buy-in on is as little as like 40 and 50 bucks, and people can get in on it. And so real estate agents, on top of being diversified income-wise, you need to be also diversified investment-wise. And obviously, we're in real estate. If you don't own real estate and you can't buy it right now, you should own your own. But if you can't buy it right now, you should be getting in on with the tokenization of real estate, fractional ownership, and getting in on that. Rob Campbell, as we wrap up.
Hey, yeah, I was going to ask you, you mentioned something earlier about building your AI clone, and I think that is very important. Kate, can we do that as a workshop next Monday? Can we get together and help everybody build their AI clone next Monday?
We could we could teach it, not as well as the other people teach. I mean, I could teach it, but not as well as the others. But if people wanted to get on here, so just building the clone that I did, I paid for a qualified instructor, and it took him 2 hours to teach it. But I could get people just enough information to probably be dangerous.
Let's do that.
And we actually can do it. You will have to send out the parameters. They need to have like a ChatGPT paid service already before they get here, and have that set up, and then we could get it and rock and roll. And I can give the prompts and things like that. They can just cut and paste it out of the chat into their ChatGPT and literally get at least the starting process of their clone, and then the rest they'll have to do on their own. But yeah,
that would be perfect. If we can get that started for everybody, that'd put us light years ahead of everybody else.
It put everybody on here in the top 1% of real estate agents.
There you go.
Just getting your clone started. All right. From the student to the teacher. So everybody will have to muddle through with this, right? They say the best way to learn it is to teach it, I guess. So I'll do it.
Yep.
I'll take on the challenge.
I love it. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be great. It'll really get it is. I 100% believe in it. And you know, the old dog new tricks thing, you know, I've been through too many of these with real estate. Everybody here needs to go with this and go all in and make a commitment before the first of the year to have their clone built. Yeah.
Are you going to be teaching next week, or you going to be teaching? We just want to know.
I've already done the clone. I've got all the prompts.
Is your clone going to be teaching us? Or you going to
be teaching it? Yeah, my clone will be teaching the class. That'll be great. He's always shirtless though, Kim. So I don't think you're going to talk to him. He's very hairy, like a groundhog. He's covered in fur, so you wouldn't like it. But hey, it's 1 o'clock. So I hope everybody got something out of it today. Here's your action plan. All right. So everybody on here, talk to a friend, bring them on. But before you come next Monday, this will work in any of the large language models. Like I prefer Perplexity over ChatGPT, but I'm going to be teaching it in ChatGPT just so we can follow along. So you'll need to have ChatGPT and you'll need to have the paid version of it. It's $20, I think, a month, something like that. It's the ChatGPT Pro version or something like that. And I think you can pay it monthly. But once we create your clone, you can import it, or I guess you'd be exporting it over to your preferred large language model, because everybody's on a different one. It's not going to work. I have to teach it on one platform. So it'll be ChatGPT.
Perfect.
And we'll go through that and we'll at least get you started on it. And there'll be a lot more. And then I can get you access to the other prompts where you have to go through and do your prompts, the questionnaire and things like that. But I should be able to knock it out in an hour. If it runs longer, I'll run longer and we'll just record it. And if you got to jump off, you got to jump off and we'll record it and then you can go watch it on the YouTube. We may have to put it on a private link because I'm teaching somebody else's course. So I don't know how we're collaborating though. It's collaboration. It's not.
That's right. That's right.
Not stealing intellectual property or anything. It's collaborating. I don't know. I'm sweating now.